are going to make spaghetti in the Instant Pot. So I am going to just put my pot on saute, and I am going to add a little bit of olive oil. And the first thing, I'm adding meat, so I'm going to put in ground chicken. You could make this with ground beef, ground pork, ground anything really, or leave it out if you want it to be vegetarian. So just going to add my meat in so that can start browning. You don't actually have to brown it. I like the texture a little bit better when it's browned. But this would cook just by throwing it in the pot. So just going to break that up a little bit. So this is just on regular saute, and we'll start adding our stuff right to this meat. Okay, so I'm just chopping up an onion here. So there's going to be 1 onion and 1 green pepper. If you don't like those items in your spaghetti, leave them out. They're not a requirement. And they can go right in with the meat. It's not going to be a problem at all. And we're going to add a green pepper, which I've actually already chopped up. Now I am going to saute these a bit, again, because I do want that meat to be browned, and it'll do it just fine with the stuff that's in there, the peppers and the onion. I'm going to add 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Let's see what I got in my pot over here. I'll do 3 cloves because my garlic is kind of on the bigger side. And I'm actually going to put the mince these in just a little hand mincer because it makes it easier. But if you don't have a hand mincer, by all means, chop it up with a knife. You could use even store-bought, like if you have some in oil or some in your fridge. We're going to go into the drawer of doom where everything just seems to get lost. And we're just going to put that right in the pot with that. So everything is looking good in here. It is going to take a couple of extra minutes to brown off that meat. I guess in the meantime, we can measure out our spices. I'll just measure them into a bowl. I would normally just put them right in the pot, but then I don't want them in there quite yet. Okay, so the first thing we're going to add is 3 teaspoons of basil. Two tablespoons of oregano. Two teaspoons of parsley. Mine are all dry ingredients. I don't have fresh right now. 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. And that's really just to help the acidity of your tomatoes when we add that in. A teaspoon of salt. A quarter of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. I am going to add a 10-ounce can of mushrooms as well. If you have fresh, use fresh, but I didn't have any on hand, and the pantry always has canned, so that's what we're going to add in. I'm going to add those in now with my meat, which is almost browned. Actually, it's probably fine because it's going to get under pressure here in a minute. Okay, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of red wine. You also do not need to add the wine if you don't want to. I like to add it at this stage so it does have a little bit of time just for the alcohol to cook off. Also, make sure you're scraping the bottom of your pot, because if when you brown the meat, if any of it stuck to the bottom, you want that off, or sometimes your pot will not come up to pressure. Okay, I'm going to add in those spices that we just measured out. Just mix those in with that. Okay, so that is pretty much how easy it is, because the rest we're just going to dump and go. So I have I have about 2.5 cups of chicken stock. If you don't have chicken stock, you can use vegetable, you could use water even. I happen to have some on hand there. I'm going to add a 5-ounce can of tomato paste, which that's not going to fit into. So if you weren't going to add meat to this, you would just skip that whole step and just basically dump everything into your pot. Okay, and we are going to add a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And I have a large can, which is, what is this? 15 ounce, this is actually a 30-ounce can of tomatoes, tomato sauce. So I'm just going to add half of it. You need 15 ounces of tomato sauce. And that's that. I'm adding 1 pound of spaghetti noodles, which I'm just going to break in half. Whoop. Maybe. Okay, and just toss them in. Now you do want to make sure that if you're making this on a smaller scale, that you figure out your water ratios, because you do need enough to be able to cook the pasta. I find this feeds 2 of us with leftovers, with a good couple of days of leftovers. Okay, so that is it. I'm just going to give this a little stir to make sure that my pasta is kind of mixed in there, or at least underneath the sauce. Okay, I'm going to put my lid on, lock it in. We're going to flick this to sealing, the vent to sealing. I'm going to cancel the saute mode, so it now says off. I am then going to put this on manual for 6 minutes. You need to put it on for basically half the amount of time that your package of pasta says, but 6 minutes seems to work for me, and I am going to put that on for a 5-minute natural release after. So once the 6 minutes goes, we are going to leave it, not touch it, it's going to beep. We're going to leave it till the timer comes up again and says 5 minutes, and then I'm going to flick that switch and I will bring you back and show you what that looks like. Okay, so 5 minutes has passed, so as you can see, it now says L5, so that means that it's already come down from 6. Oh, we're just going into 6 here. The pressure is just coming off, so we're just waiting for that silver toggle to drop. Once that drops, we know it's safe to open, and we will open it up. Okay, so we've just opened the pot. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So that's what it looks like there. You are going to have to give it a good stir. The pasta will stick together a little bit, but it's quite all right. You'll just break it up, and once it's all broken up, it is ready to eat. And that is the spaghetti in the Instant Pot. Enjoy!